So, the classic Sonic games are regarded as some of the best games in the franchise, and while I'm not that fond of Sonic 1 or CD, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 are definitely games that I will give revisits to anytime. But what about the future? In 1996, Mario made his jump to 3D with Super Mario 64, a game that is very well acclaimed to this day. So, of course, all eyes were on Sonic to make the jump as well.
Now, I know you've probably heard this a million times. It seems like every Sonic reviewer out there has said this at some point, but just because it's said a lot doesn't mean it's not true.
You see, Sonic's jump to 3D wasn't a pleasant one. First, there was Sonic 3D Blast, a game that, as of the time of this video, I haven't reviewed yet, but suffice to say, it didn't leave much of an impression. Then there was Sonic Jam, a collection of Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles for the Sega Saturn, but what most people remember it for is the Sonic World, an open-world hub area where you could look at art, listen to music, and even catch a ride with Tails. It wasn't anything special, but at the time, it was the closest thing we had to a proper 3D Sonic game. Then, finally, there was Sonic R, which... well, I thought it was okay, but it wasn't well received.
Now, I know I'm overlooking a couple of things, like, for example, Sonic Extreme, a cancelled 3D Sonic game for the Sega Saturn, but... I don't really feel like I can say anything about it that hasn't already been said. Maybe I'll mention it during my 3D Blast review, but...
So yeah, Sonic's jump to 3D wasn't a pleasant one. But that all changed in 1998 with the debut of the Sega Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure. Or maybe not so much.
Let's start with the plot.
The game's story is split across 6 different character stories, with a final story serving as the finale. In order to get the whole story, you need to piece together different events from each character's stories, which, let me tell you, is no easy feat. This game's story is told in a Rashomon style, where certain details are different depending on which character you're playing as, such as dialogue, time of day, etc.
Knuckles, don't tell me Eggman tricked you again!
Me? What about you?
Knuckles, did you let him trick you again?
Like you weren't?
But I think I've managed to compile all the stories together into one overarching narrative. Here we go. On a dark and stormy night, or not, Knuckles is guarding the Master Emerald when it suddenly breaks, revealing a water monster known as Chaos. With the Master Emerald broken, Angel Island crashes down into the sea. Meanwhile, in the Mystic Ruins, we meet a fat cat named Big and his pet frog named Froggy. These two aren't important to the story, so I'll be mostly ignoring them. At the same time, in Station Square, we see Sonic jumping across roofs when he notices the police going after something. When he gets there, he finds Chaos attacking and manages to draw him back. The next morning, we see Tails flying a plane when it suddenly crashes. Sonic notices this and goes to rescue him. Tails tells Sonic about how he was testing the plane using a Chaos Emerald, and the two head to Tails' workshop in the Mystic Ruins. There, they encounter Robotnik, who Sonic insultingly calls Eggman. Yeah, about that. You see, in Japan, he was always known as Dr. Eggman, but when Sonic 1 came to the West, Sega of America didn't think players would be able to take a villain named Eggman seriously, so they changed his name to Dr. Ivo Robotnik. However, with the release of Sonic Adventure, they wanted to have one consecutive story for the series, so they made it that his real name is Dr. Robotnik, but everyone calls him Eggman. Anyways, Eggman manages to take the Chaos Emerald from them and gives it to Chaos, who powers up. Realizing they need to stop him, the two set out to find the other emeralds before he does. Meanwhile, Knuckles continues his search for the pieces of the Master Emerald. Eggman manages to steal an emerald from Sonic and Tails and gives it to Chaos and has him test his new power on Knuckles. Eggman tricks Knuckles into thinking Sonic is after the Master Emerald again. Didn't he already do that in Sonic 3? And Knuckles seems to confirm it. However, of course, it was actually a Chaos Emerald, and with that, Eggman and Chaos now have 4 emeralds. After revealing his newest creation, the Egg Carrier, Sonic and Tails chase after him on the tornado while Knuckles continues searching for the Master Emerald shards. While they manage to take down some of the Egg Carrier's defenses, Sonic and Tails are eventually separated when Eggman shoots the tornado down. Sonic lands in Station Square, where he crosses paths with Amy, making her return from Sonic CD. Amy and a little bird she found are being chased by a robot named Zero. While the bird is never given a name in-game, the Sonic X adaptation of this game refers to her as Lily, so that's what I'll be calling her in this review. Eventually, Amy and Lily are captured by Zero and transported to the egg carrier before Sonic can save them. Meanwhile, Tails, who landed in the Mystic Ruins, looks for another Chaos Emerald to power up his new plane being momentarily interrupted by Big and Froggy. He manages to get the plane up and going, meeting up with Sonic near Angel Island, and the two chase after the egg carrier again, this time managing to land on it. Sort of. Knuckles manages to find all but 3 of the missing emerald shards, discovering that the last 3 are on board the egg carrier. So he chases after one of Eggman's robots to the egg carrier's launch site. Later, the same robot Knuckles chase after, named E-102 Gamma, sets Amy and Lily free after they manage to get through to him. Sonic and Tails manage to get to Eggman right as he corners Amy and Lily, revealing that Lily had a Chaos Emerald inside her pendant. Somehow. Eggman pits Gamma against Sonic and Tails, but Amy manages to get through to him once again. The ship begins to lose altitude, so Tails takes Amy and leaves with Gamma, while Sonic goes after Eggman on the bridge of the ship. There, he sees that Chaos is transformed once again with the emerald from Lily's pendant, as well as the one that Froggy swallowed earlier. With just 1 emerald to go before Chaos is fully powered up, Sonic manages to stop him, with Big and Froggy leaving, never really having any importance in the story. Knuckles, who has found the last 3 pieces of the Master Emerald, clashes with Chaos once more, and with him defeated, takes the Master Emerald pieces and the 6 Chaos Emeralds with him back to Angel Island as it rises back up into the air. Meanwhile, Sonic discovers some ancient ruins in the jungle and goes to inspect. Back at Station Square, Eggman launches a missile at the city, but it doesn't explode. Tails, now acting on his own, goes to disarm the missile before Eggman can detonate it. Meanwhile, Amy looks for Lily's missing family and finds them aboard the egg carrier before taking down Zero once and for all. Tails manages to defeat Eggman, who flees to his base where Sonic confronts him. And Gamma's dead. Yeah, his motive after leaving the egg carrier was to save the animals inside all the E-Series robots, with the last 2 being himself and E-101 Beta, both of which happen to be powered by Lily's family. Chaos, however, wasn't destroyed and betrays Eggman, taking the 6 emeralds Knuckles had, and then the last one from Tails' plane, which Big used to escape the egg carrier. With all 7 Chaos Emeralds, Chaos transforms into Perfect Chaos, destroying Station Square. Luckily, though, there were no casualties. Seriously, we see the streets crowded at first, but then once Chaos attacks, they're completely empty. Anyways, after learning the history of Chaos from this little ball of light who turns out to be Tikal, an ancient Echidna tribe member who sealed Chaos inside the Master Emerald over 4,000 years ago, Sonic uses the positive energy of the Chaos Emeralds to become Supersonic and finally neutralize Chaos. With Chaos's anger now gone and finally being peaceful, he and Tikal return back to the Master Emerald. The day is saved, but Station Square is still destroyed, so does Eggman win now, or what? So now with the story out of the way, let's talk about the game itself. As mentioned earlier, there are 6 playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big, and Gamma. Sonic is all about high-speed platforming, you know, what you'd expect from a Sonic game. Although he has a new technique called the homing attack, allowing you to target enemies with ease. I love the homing attack. I think it was a great choice for bringing Sonic into 3D. He can also nab an upgrade that allows him to do the light speed dash, traveling along a trail of rings very fast. Ironically though, it takes forever to charge up. Tails' gameplay is pretty much the same as Sonic's, but with an added race element to it. Your goal as Tails is to not only get to the goal, but get to it first. I don't really understand this for the first 4 levels as you're racing Sonic. Like, does it really matter who gets to the Emerald first? The only one this makes sense for is his last stage where you're racing against Eggman to get to the missile. Knuckles' gameplay is treasure hunting. Your goal is to find the 3 pieces of the Master Emerald using this radar. Each one will beat faster and faster when you're closer to that Emerald piece. All 3 of these gameplay styles are really fun and I love doing them. Then we get to the other 3. Amy is not that bad. Her gameplay is quite a bit slower than Sonic's, but it's still not horrible. If she were just a little faster, I'd say her gameplay would be pretty good. But then there's these 2, Big and Gamma. Let's start with Gamma as his style isn't as annoying.
E-102, codename Gamma!
Gamma's gameplay is shooting. Yup. Shooting. Also, unlike everyone else, he has a time limit. But at least you're still traversing the levels with obstacles. Sure, it's tedious, but it's nowhere near as annoying as Big. Big's gameplay is fishing. Fishing! In a Sonic game. Now, if it were an optional minigame, it probably wouldn't be as hated, but no! It's required to get to the final boss. Why? This isn't necessary. And again, Big has no real importance in the story aside from Froggy swallowing a Chaos Emerald and a piece of chaos. But you could take that out and it would impact nothing! As for the levels themselves, there are a total of 11. However, not every character goes through each level. Sonic has 10, Tails has 5, Knuckles has 5, Amy has 3, Big for some reason has 4, and Gamma has 5. Sonic's levels are also generally longer than everyone else's, as each level has multiple sections, and Sonic goes through pretty much all of them, while others only go through 1 or maybe 2. First up is Emerald Coast, Sonic's first level, Big's third, and Gamma's second. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a beach level with palm trees, sand, and killer whales that try to murder you. Next up is Windy Valley, Sonic's second, Tails' first, and Gamma's third. Most of this level is pretty standard except for the middle section where you're climbing up a tornado. Next is Casinopolis, Sonic's third, Tails' second, and Knuckles' second. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a casino level with pinball gimmicks and the sorts. There's also a sewer that you traverse. Next up is Ice Cap from Sonic 3, Sonic's fourth, Tails' third, and Big's second. The most memorable part is the snowboarding at the end, once again referencing Sonic 3. Then there's Twinkle Park, Sonic's fifth, Amy's first, and Big's first. It's a big theme park with racing, roller coasters, a hall of mirrors, the works. Next up is Speed Highway, Sonic's sixth, Tails' fifth, and Knuckles' first. This is without a doubt my favorite level in the whole game. There's plenty of routes to take, tons of slopes for speed. It's amazing. Next is Red Mountain, Sonic's 7th, Knuckles' 3rd, and Gamma's 4th. This level has you traversing Angel Island's volcano, meaning that technically this is Lava Reef. Also, despite its name, it's more green than red. Next up is Skydeck, Sonic's 8th, Tails' 4th, and Knuckles' 5th. Fuck this level! It's like Wing Fortress on crack! It's so hard to control, there's tons of bottomless pits, and of course, anti-gravity mechanics. Then we have Lost World, Sonic's 9th and Knuckles' 4th. Yeah, only 2 characters access this one. Anyways, it's a hidden temple with water, flaming rocks, and gravity panels. Then there's Final Egg, Sonic's 10th, Amy's 3rd, and ironically, Gamma's 1st. It's definitely a final level, alright. I don't have much to say other than Sonic's version is absolute hell. Lastly, there's Hot Shelter, Amy's 2nd, Big's 4th, and Gamma's 5th. Given that it's only accessed by the slow characters, this level is much more platform heavy. Although the music kicks ass! There's also a number of bosses, ranging from encounters with Chaos, encounters with Eggman, a couple character battles, and some other miscellaneous fights.
Oh no.
I should note that you have to fight Chaos 4 as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and it's the same thing each time. It gets very monotonous. Also, the battle against the Egg Viper can fuck right off! No joke, I had a really hard time with this one.
I've been at this for literally 20 minutes. Like, I'd say half of the recording I've done so far is just this boss. See, like, what the fuck? I went right through him! No. Are you fucking serious?!
See if you can make it through here, Sonic.
What?! How the fuck? What?! I just want to beat this boss so I can get to the rest of the game. What the fuck? I don't know why, but this version of the game feels slower than the DX version. I don't know. Maybe it's because it runs at 30 FPS, whereas the DX version runs at 6. Oh wow, he actually hit that. Yeah, maybe it's because this version runs at 30 while the DX version runs at 60 FPS. I don't know, but this version feels a lot slower and a lot... I don't know, everything feels a lot more floaty. I've never had this much problems with this boss before. What the fuck? Oh, thank God. Now, come on. Come on.
Watch out. He's up to something.
Do not fucking run! Oh, finally.
One thing I've neglected to mention is Tikal. Periodically throughout your game, she'll interrupt the player, showing them history about herself or Chaos. Now, I can understand for these four, but why show Big and Gamma? Gamma dies at the end of his story, and Big is Big.
The servers are the 7 Chaos Emeralds, unified by one that is the controller.
There are extra levels in this game as well, referred to as sub-games. They're boring. Sand Hill is just the snowboarding section from Ice Cap, and the Sky Chase levels are just as tedious as in Sonic 2, except now you have to play it 4 times! Yes, seriously, 4 times! Twice in Sonic's story, and twice in Tails' story. Then there's the Chow Garden, an area where you can raise Chow, these cute little blob creatures. I don't have as much experience with Adventure 1's Chow Gardens. I'm more well versed in Adventure 2's, so I'll talk more about them then. Lastly, there are hub worlds to explore. The Egg Carrier is what you'd expect from its name. There's tons of Eggman-themed items everywhere. The Mystic Ruins are cool, though I will admit I do sometimes get lost in the jungle. And finally, there's Station Square, where you can do all sorts of things. Stealing from a store, committing identity theft, jaywalking, breaking the laws of physics. Also within this game are a bunch of graphical glitches, stuff like Sonic's eye acting like a slot machine, or... well then. I'm gonna have nightmares now. New to this game are voice actors. Each character now has a voice instead of being silent. Sonic is voiced by Ryan Drummond, and I gotta say, this game isn't his best. He definitely got better later on, but in this game...
Hey, there's no time to rest. Oh, yeah! This is happening. Come on, you big drip. Where you going?
it's kinda hit or miss. Tails is voiced by Corey Bringus, and...
Hey, Sonic! Long time no see, huh? Uh-oh! What's this? Hey, Knuckles! What's up?
I hate his take on Tails. No offense to him, but he just sounds like he's reading directly off the script with no direction. Knuckles is voiced by Michael McGarn.
Oh no.
He's pretty good. Amy is voiced by Jennifer Douillard. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's a French name, so... she's definitely one of my favorite actors in this game. She does a phenomenal job as Amy.
Sonic, wait up! Long time no see! I'll make that Sonic respect me, and by that time it's gonna be too late! Mwah!
Big is voiced by John St. John, better known as Duke fucking Nukem.
I must say, Froggy! It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum.
Gamma and Tikal's father are both voiced by Steve Brody.
Dr. Robotnik. Enemy. Master registration. Deleted.
To call, the 7 emeralds are essential to our survival.
Meh, he's alright. Tikal is voiced by Ilara Disler.
The servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power. Power enriched by the heart. The controller is the one that unifies the chaos.
Again, she's alright. And finally, Eggman is voiced by the late Dean Bristow. His take on Eggman is actually pretty menacing.
I will make you all pay for this, you fool. Away, before I make mincemeat out of you.
Lastly, let's talk about the music. I know I didn't talk much about the music in the Genesis games, and yeah, I forgot. But this game's music, holy mother of pearl, it's amazing! Funnily enough, I don't think there's a single song on this soundtrack I hate. It's just I either like it, I really like it, or I'm indifferent to it. I think that goes to show how good this soundtrack is. Also, some of the songs come directly from the Genesis version of 3D Blast, and the reason for that is... well, given the fact that I haven't reviewed 3D Blast as the time of reviewing this game, I'll explain it in that video.
However, we're not done just yet.
In 2003, Sonic Adventure was ported to the GameCube under the name Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. This wasn't just a simple port, it also contained graphical updates like higher poly models of the characters, new textures, and upgrading the frame rate from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. This is how I grew up playing Sonic Adventure. However, I don't really like how the textures and lighting were changed. I actually kinda prefer the Dreamcast version. But I also prefer the GameCube models. If only there was a way I could play with the textures and lighting of the Dreamcast version and the models of the GameCube version. Well, that's where this comes in. In 2010, Sonic Adventure DX got an HD upgrade for PS3 and Xbox 360, and then in 2011 that version was released on Steam. It's pretty much exactly the same as the DX version, but the PC version is stupidly easy to mod. So that's where the Dreamcast mods come in, restoring the textures, lighting, and models of the Dreamcast version. But they're separate, so you can play with the Dreamcast lighting and textures and the GameCube models. This is how I prefer to play. Plus, I think the GameCube models look really good with the textures of the Dreamcast models. The default textures for the models are too shiny, making them look very plastic.
So, how do I feel overall?
Sonic Adventure is a pretty okay Sonic game. It's not one I'd revisit constantly, but I also wouldn't be opposed to revisiting it on occasion. There are things I really like about this game, and others that show this game hasn't aged very well. I give the Dreamcast version a 6 out of 10. The GameCube version I'll give a 6.5 out of 10 because while it is an upgrade, it does have flaws that the Dreamcast version didn't. And the PC version, if it weren't moddable, I'd give it the same score as the GameCube one, but since it is easily moddable and you can customize the graphics to your liking, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. So overall, Sonic Adventure averages out to a 6.5 out of 10. Not a great game, but also not absolutely terrible.
So, with that done, next time we're going to be taking a look at the sequel to this game, Sonic Adventure 2.